right now, I'm leaning towards using Genesis for basically any of these things because I think it's a pretty good sci-fi, like I can make a pretty good sci-fi base out of it. All of these represent work that I have to do, right? I'm going to have to hack anything that we play. And I think because it is structured already to be hacked from the get-go, Genesis is a pretty good start. I'm not willing to design a brand new game, which is why Monster Hearts for the Psychic Academy, totally out, right? Any Powered by the Apocalypse game, out. Because I just don't have the time to make a new game. I really fucking don't. So Genesis is a good base, and then I can design in new stuff as I need to. Like the things that I like most, I'm going to use anyway, like fronts, countdown clocks, that kind of like GM tool set stuff, the faction turn, those are easy to bolt on. I'm not using Stars Without Number because, as I said at the beginning of the stream, it's boring. I want something with a little more juice to it. I love the fiction stuff, or the fiction that comes from the faction turn. I love all of that, but I find like the D20 combat dull. The skill systems are okay, but I don't know. I need a break. I need to like shift away from that. Now, I don't think that Genesis is perfect for any of these, but I also think that it fits enough that I can redesign. Like, for example, so for Genesis, these are the things that I'm going to need to do to make that fit with the any of these premises, with the universe of Far Verona. Psychic stuff, right? Like psychic powers work a very particular way, and I figure I can crib some stuff from Star Wars, right? Look at how force powers work. We can crib some stuff there to build sci-fi or to build psychic stuff. Spaceships, right? I'm gonna have to like think about how that works. We're gonna have to crib some stuff from Star Wars. We're gonna have to crib some stuff from the core book, right? Was Traveler already discarded? Yes, Traveler is like a more boring Stars Without Number. So there's that. Navigation, but honestly, the nav tables from Far Verona, or from Stars Without Number, I can just pick it up and drop it into, like, it's easy. That's very, very easy to do. I think that maybe and we'll take a close look at Genesis. Don't worry. Yeah, we'll dig into that. So we'll look at it. That's part of this. That's the back half. That's why I saved all this time. Cause like, look what I already have, like a cooking show. Look what I already have ready. So Scum and Villainy is too, I'd have to do too much work because it's already its own thing. It's got its own universe. I'd have to scrape all that off and I would have to rebuild something else. And it still only does the kind of heist structure. Like it's a Blades hack. So it feels like you take on jobs and you do the thing, and that feels a little too swan song for me. So I want this to be focused. Notice that even in Prism News Ship 12, right, there is one thing. You are chasing the big one. It is a singular overarching thing that you are trying to accomplish, not you're just trying to get big. Now, you could do a version of Prism News Ship 12 where it's like you and all your competitors fighting for news stories, and that would be a great use of Blades. But I don't think that is what I want. I don't think I want this to be about just the team. I want it to be about the big one. I want it to be about that hunt for them. Yeah, so that's kind of my thoughts. I think, yeah, right, like Inspectors would be good for a Prism like one shot, but Inspectors is not a campaign game. I want this to run for a while. I think it fits for everything else. And I think a lot of the reason why it fits is because there are supplements that I can chop from. Like there are already synths in, here, I don't have the setting book, but I'll grab it and then we'll do a kind of a deep dive on Genesis and see let's see how much work I would have to do. Is it possible to run Burning Wheel and reflavor it for sci-fi? Fuck no. I would have to do so much work. I wish, like, that's my white whale of a system, right? Like, I want there to be a game that I could use Burning Wheel to do a sci-fi story, but it's a whole new game. It's a brand new design. I'd have to write all new life paths for everything. I'd have to redesign all of the conflict structures. Someday I will, but that day is sure as fuck not today. So here's the thing, Troubadour. The problem with using the sprawl is the sprawl does not care about the PCs. The player characters are irrelevant in the sprawl, and it cares only about the factions, and I've already got factions, so it's like, you could do it as a one-shot, a sprawl one-shot where you don't do any of the faction creation. That I would love to do, but for a campaign, I don't think it works. It is a good game, but just not for this. Okay, so I have Shadow of the Beanstalk ready. I have grabbed that as well. So let's take a look at the Genesis core rules, and we'll kind of talk it out about what it's going to give me, what it's not going to give me, and kind of where I'm going to need to do work for that thing. Yeah, I mean, Truder, that's a whole other video, like talking about long-term sprawl play and the problems we had with the sprawl and like where it ran us into problems. Because a lot of characters just like died, and the game doesn't care about that, which is good. That's what the game is about, but I don't want that for this show. Okay, so Genesis is a setting agnostic role-playing game based on the core mechanics that were designed for the Star Wars game by Fantasy Flight. It is a generic system, but as with every generic system, as with Fate, as with GURPS, as with Savage Worlds, it has a sort of cinematic flavor built into it. It feels a certain way. I've played enough of the Star Wars game to recognize what stuff is based on the dice and what stuff came from like Star Wars flavor. And so I think I have a pretty good handle on what Genesis is bringing to the table. And I like what it has to offer, which is to say its dice system. So this uses basically the exact same dice system from that game. It uses a series of weirdly shaped dice with funny colors and strange symbols. And the idea is you get a pool of dice, you roll them, the good and the bad stuff cancels itself out, and whatever you've got left, that's what happens in the action. Sometimes you succeed, and you succeed with an extra benefit. Sometimes you succeed at a cost. Sometimes you fail. Sometimes you fail with a benefit. There's granularity in this system that every time you roll, you are consulting an oracle. It's got a bit of a steep curve because people are like, I only like D6s, but I really like it. And I think that the symbols are really cool, and they're a cool way to, at a glance, tell what it is that is going on. The dice have a lot to say. One of the things that I checked, and this was a question from Troubadour, Roll20 has an API character sheet for this. Yeah. I checked, because if there wasn't Roll20 API capability, immediate off the table. Like, I could not play it, right? It just wouldn't be an option. So there is that in the game. The character sheet is tied into it, and you can do the thing. So the core mechanics, I really like them. I like upgrading dice. I like proficiency and ability and boost. I like setbacks. I like all that stuff. I think it's really cool. It's fun both live and online. I think that once the people who watch it like figure it out, then it's fairly straightforward. You can tell what's going on. I really like the system of the game where you I'm trying to find it, where you exchange points with the GM. I really like giving the characters the ability, whether it's to spend inspiration. See, this is the thing Stars with a Number doesn't have. The ability to upgrade your rolls based on points you've earned, or downgrade your enemies' rolls. The ability to affect the dice on stuff that's really important for you. I really like that. Yeah. So in Star Wars, it is a light side, dark side force balance thing. In this, it is GM and player points. They're called story points. And they're called story points not just because you can affect the game stuff, but you can use them to like create little details. You can create, yeah, it sounds like balance of power. It's the same. So you can upgrade your dice. You can raise the stakes on your enemies. You can activate special abilities and talents, but you can use them to introduce facts about the narrative. Right? And you can use them like persona points to be like, maybe I'm not knocked off the cliff to my death. Maybe I fall most of the way and I drop my data pad and it falls into a crevice, right? So you can you can use this balance of things, and the GM can do it and the players can do it, and you can kind of pass that stuff back and forth. I think Marcus will appreciate this when he's like, do we have any Lazarus patches? And I'm like, do you have any points? So yeah, it's a nice way to give the players the ability to impact the narrative, and it invites them into doing that, right? I'm gonna use this as a way to be like, oh, well, you have some points to spend. Would you like to tell me that you have a friend on this planet? Or so it stands in for things like contact rolls or circles or whatever. Yeah. So it's a pretty cool system. I think, does Callisto 6, is that the name of the show? Does Callisto 6 use this system? I think they do, right? There's a Geek and Sundry show that's like a sci-fi superhero kind of show that I think uses, they use Cypher in that one. Okay. Yeah. All right. Is there anybody that's running Genesis as one of their systems? I'm trying to think of it. I guess if you want to see it in action, you want to see Genesis, go watch the Balance of Power, right? Go watch us do that. How does combat flow in this system? It's a little more complicated, but it's way less whiffy. Combat in basic D&D and by extension Stars Without Number, it's very dull until you're dead. It's basically like, I shoot him, I miss. I shoot him, I miss. He shoots you. You get hit. You take 8 damage. You're dead. And you're like, fuck. Which is what it's designed for, right? Stars Without Number wants its combat to be like that, but this would allow us a little bit more like cinematic, a little bit more like superhero type combat, rather than like gritty, you get shot once and you die. Star Wars combat, right? Star Trek combat, movie fights. And I'm okay with that. I'd like to lean into that. So the dice system, the story points, the ability to be ostensible and let me hack it. That's something that's interesting to me. That's something that I'm looking forward to. Being able to determine that stuff. And then some of the character stuff. The characters are broader. So like in this game, by default, if you don't have a campaign book you're using, you choose your character's background, your character's archetype, your character's career, and then you spend points. And in the base system, there are only some like very basic types of skills. Like anybody could have any of the skills. And then I would have to hack together some like Stars with a Number skills that would fill in those gaps. I did not consider Savage Worlds because I don't like it. I have played it before and I don't want to play it. Suitability or otherwise, like it's not a game that I enjoy. Yeah. This is not fun for me. Doesn't mean it's like bad. It's just a bad fit for me as a player. And so I'm not going to have fun running it. So I didn't even consider it. So, okay. So we come up with your character's background, which I think in this is just answering some questions. So I guess that's something I would have to do. Like, what are the relevant questions for your character? Right? So that's a thing. I guess let me start making a list. What did Kevin Crawford think now that I called his game boring? The whole game isn't boring. The player side of the game is boring. The faction turn is brilliant. All the tables and stuff, the universe, all the GM stuff for a GM, it's fantastic. For a player, I don't know. I don't think it's that fun. And it doesn't really like give them much to do. Just resolve conflicts. Okay, so anyway, if I use Genesis, let's see what I would need to do. So, okay, we would need background questionnaire, right? So where are you from? Right? This is all generic stuff, but we would come up with specific questions for this setting, right? Okay, so that's cool. We can do that. Select a character archetype or species. The 4 archetypes are very broad, right? You start as an average person. This is the like naked Dark Souls character with no abilities. You just get a bunch of points to spend. You have 2 across the board, 10 of everything, and then you have 1 ability. Once per session, you can move a story point from the game master to yourself. So this is just like, I'm not anything yet. I'm just a guy. I'm just an average person. So that's certainly, you know, maybe so in say the synth premise, if you wanted to start as an average human, you would be like, oh, I just like, I used to be a student at the university and I participated in pro like synth rights. And now I got caught up in this whole thing and I like fell in love with a synth, but I'm just a regular guy, right? Yeah. So it's kind of fun, right? This like the mortal, basically, right? The laborer. So someone who has a background in the form of manual labor, the intellectual, or the aristocrat, right? Those are the 4 basic like archetypes. So I feel like those are pretty good to cover the most basic basics. They're very, very limited. And then you supplement them by choosing a career. Now, this is also where you would choose your character's species, because species and archetype are on the same like level. So in Shadow of the Beanstalk, and let's take a closer look at this one. So Shadow of the Beanstalk is a science fiction campaign setting for Genesis that covers the Android universe. And in this, the character archetypes, they add some new ones that I could lift wholesale. It's called Shadow of the Beanstalk because the Beanstalk is the space elevator between the big space station and Earth, and the game takes place in the city around the base of that elevator, literally in the shadow of the Beanstalk. Yeah, that's why that setting is called that. So anyhow, in the character creation for this one, it adds in naturals, bioroids, clones, cyborgs, Gmods, people from the moon, right? So some of these are too specific. I wouldn't put in loonies. I wouldn't put in Gmods, but you could be a cyborg. It's Kano. So you could be a cyborg, you could be a bioroid, or you could be a clone. And those could all represent kinds of synths, right? A bioroid and a clone are 2 different kinds of synths. And then cyborg is just a person with cybernetic enhancements. Wait, those are Netrunner characters. Go figure. It's the Netrunner universe. Okay, so let's go back to my tab here. So if I use Genesis, we've got, what are the basic careers like? What was it? It was human archetypes. Regular human, aristocrat, laborer, intellectual, me, an intellectual, and then also cyborg, clone, synth, right, which is bioroid. So I would have to add psychic, right? So I'd have to design psychic and add it to the list if anyone wanted to play one. So that would be something. So like yeah. I feel like, so let's look at season 1. Riley was pretending to be a laborer, but was actually a bioroid. Nomi was a psychic. Jason and Booker are both regular humans. Gabriel was a cyborg. The difference between a cyborg and a synth. Cyborg is a person who has mechanical parts attached to them. A clone is a synth meant to replicate a human being. I think a synth in this case is someone who is better than human, right? So like in the game, bioroids are fully artificial creations with the attendant benefits and disadvantages. They're like old model and new model, right? So a bioroid would be like a slightly older model Cygnus synth that like you could look at them and tell that they are artificial, right? They're not as like, they're inorganic. They're like basically like more like data. Yeah, transhuman and posthuman, right? So a bioroid is like an android that is faking looking like a human. And then a clone is indistinguishable. A clone is what we think of as when we think of synths in the game. Yeah, and we'll look. There's some more stuff. There's some more setting stuff in the Genesis core rulebook, and we'll see what that looks like. Yeah, right. So let's take a look at what else we need to do. So archetype and species would be those ones, plus whatever psychic looks like. Careers are pretty straightforward, but we could create some more. So like the base careers are entertainer, explorer, healer, leader, scoundrel, socialite, soldier, tradesperson. So base careers. So let me take a look here. So careers. Dinosaur isn't a career. Get out of here. How would archetypes fit in the academy scenario? They would probably all be the psychic archetype. Same as how, or they could be other, yeah, we'll look at those setting type careers in a second. Or they could be regular humans who like work at or like live at the thing. You don't all have to be students necessarily, but you have to be connected to the student's ongoing drama. Yeah. Humans that have been modified to fit on their homeworld better, they're humans. Those are just regular humans. They can spend their points to represent any changes like that. Okay. So anyway, careers, base careers plus like, let's take a look at drink. Let's take a look at what the game suggests and then what else we got. So priest, not druid, mad scientist, starship captain. So I would say we could create some additional ones, either based on what's in the universe or just create them based on what the players want to play. I think that might be the better approach rather than create like a bunch, because I'm not creating a campaign setting here. I only need to create what the players need, plus anything the players decide they might want to play. So like, yeah, hacker, pilot, technician, psychic. I guess psychic is your archetype. Priest, etc. Yeah. It's just a list of skills anyway, so it's not like hard to put together. And these would be like careers tied straight to the setting. Yeah. And some of these are already, yeah, some of them are already in here. Shouldn't be a big deal. Okay. So this is easy. Because again, a career is just what is your career skill? So not such a big deal. So you do your skill training, you do characteristics, you determine your derived attributes, you determine your motivation. So motivation in this game, is based on you're motivated by desire, fear, strength, or a flaw. 4 different facets of motivation, and they affect you role-playing your character, and this is how you get like points. So you can roll on the table, right? So you have, I guess, do you have a desire? Yeah, you have a desire, a fear, a flaw, and a motivation. That's cool. Okay. So like, you want to be the very best. You want fame. You want knowledge. You want love. These are all base human desires, so I don't really need to add anything to these. I need to help the players decide what they're afraid of or decide, you know, the structures that these things make sense in. Yeah, okay. Cool. Desire, fear, flaw, strength, motivations in play. Okay, cool. So they get gear. I guess I'll have to just make sure Spike drives, mag pistols, any kind of SWN, Sci-Tech, right? Anything the players want from the SWN gear, plus anything that is inherently part of the Far Verona universe. Las patches, right? Big robots. Yeah, that kind of stuff. Grenades, fully semi-automatic pistols, fizzy cheese. Yeah, right? So anything that I need to build for gear, that should be fairly easy, just to find something similar in one of the other books and chuck it in there. Okay, so they do that for character creation. Skills. I need to finalize a skill list. Okay, so mix core skills, Star Wars, and Beanstalk skills. See what the core book has to offer. Fill gaps. There you go. Okay, cool. Yeah, right. Identifying that, like, how do, I mean, that's all going to be part of how do we do psychic powers? Okay. So we will need a skill list, right? Additional or custom skills, right? So I'll have to just do that. Social skills, all this is fine. This is all just descriptions of the skills in the game. Talents. Okay, so does this still use the... It has tiers, but it doesn't use the... It doesn't use the, like, complicated diagram thing based on your class, right? So, like, bot info is a tier 1 ability, and then tier 2 ability is okay. All right, and it gives you some ideas about, like, Daring Aviator, and okay, it doesn't have the trees from, yeah, good. Okay, so it's just basic things. All right, so again, same thing. Finalize talent list. So, finalize talent list. Same as above, but talents. Okay. All right. That's all talent info. We talked about gear already. None of this stuff is any different. Let's see what they have in terms of... this is all combat and environment effects, social encounters, social conflict, which is cool that it has something like that. Right? It's got like a duel of wits kind of encounter. GMing, yada, yada, yada. I just want to get to the, like, making up your own shit thing. Settings, here we go. Oh, look at that. It's got a setting worksheet. This is kind of neat. So, like, world, base setting, tone, overview, tropes and themes, setting specific skills. I wonder if this... Give me a second. I've got a test account where I'm, like, mucking with the Genesis API. I wonder if the setting has a sheet in Roll20. That'd be pretty sick. All right, give me a hot minute here. Just making sure the API is still... I was fucking with it before. Because I wonder if I can just do this work in Roll20. All right, let me spare your eyeballs from my bright white Roll20 background. Okay, here we go. So I've got this game master character sheet. This is the thing I use to roll the dice pools. We've got my story point pool. Oh yeah, here we go. Look, campaign details, setting worksheet, factions and organizations, movers and shakers, major species type, tech level. Yeah, cool. And then I can add everybody's. Okay, so this is like my little GM notebook within the. Okay, neat. All right, the sheet is the GM master interface. Yes, my little thing that I can use. So like when I need to make a roll, I don't have to roll off of a character sheet every time. I can just roll the dice here. I can be like, it's 3 difficulty and 3 skill and one of those, and there's a boost, and we roll it. Ah, yeah, we got 1 success and 3 advantages. We're doing great. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's good. And then the players will all have their own rollers, and we'll have story points. Yeah, use GM story point, clear the pool. Yeah, sick. Okay, good. All right, so that's working. And then we can use this setting worksheet to kind of fill it in once we decide what everybody is, what premise they're going to buy in on. Okay, great. Well, that's nice. Let's take a look and see if there's like setting specific stuff. There is a space opera and a science fiction like setting. So let's see what it offers. These are all examples, like Runebound, like all the worlds that Fantasy Flight owns. Weird War, steampunk, blah, blah, blah. Science fiction. So here's Android, right? They're giving us a little bit of like secret kind of hints about Android. And then space opera. Wow, it's such cool art. So this is like, for example, their example is the Twilight Imperium. Psionic, there we go. Okay, so how does psionics work? Psionics give you. Oh, these aren't psionics. These are telepaths. So the way they do it is like all of their psionics can read minds, change people's emotions, and then cause them strain. So this would be a nice way to represent specific powers. But this psychic kind of like life path thing is not good. I would need to find a way to divide. I guess we'd make them into skills, and they'd be skills you can only buy if you are a psychic. And then you make skill checks using your, right? This is like a, There are guidelines for designing skills. Yes, yeah. So setting specific gear, blah-de-blah-de-blah. GM toolkit. First thing off the bat, customizing rules. So here's how you design a skill. Here's how you link it to a characteristic. It's a whole chapter. Like this is why I think this game is useful and not like, it's generic. So everything is the same as everything else. This is a toolkit. Instead of saying, just use this and it'll be everything. Instead, it says, here's how you make the things you need. So I think the biggest work would be creating psychics. I think that's the biggest thing I would need to do. So I need to look into that. Creating species or archetypes, creating new talents. Like how to build your own shit, creating gear. So there's a lot in here, right? Creating adversaries. It's like definitely the least Garbo generic system I've ever seen. I think in terms of what it gives you, which is really nice because a lot of them just turn you loose and they just say, do whatever you want. A concern is moving the stuff you make into Roll20. I don't think so because it's meant to be like here. Let's look at. Yeah, Cortex does some of that too. Cortex is they're very good at figuring that stuff out. Like, let's make a character. And I'll show you what a character sheet character looks like. So the players, because it's a setting where all of this stuff is generic, they fill all this crap in. And I think you can. Let me see. I think we have to determine. There's a tutorial on how to use these sheets. And I will take a look at it because you are adding your own stuff. Where do I do stats? Strain, defense, skills, notes. Yeah, I really haven't looked at the the way that the players do the thing. That's part of what I need to do. But yeah, so they record their own stuff on here. Who's going to make a GUI remake of the sheet before the show starts? I mean, that'd be fucking super cool. Oh yeah, it's totally possible. You can add in, you add in your own stuff. Yes, it was an X-Wing. It's because I think the people that made this sheet, they made the same, it's the same people that made the Star Wars version. I think this is a variant thereof. Yeah, because it uses all that same stuff, hard points and what have you. Yeah. Okay. Oh, there it is. It's skills are also characteristics, right? So these are the base like skills. These are the magic skills, all the combat stuff. And then we'd add in custom skills. I don't think I can cut skills from the thing, but I can tell the players just to ignore it. Okay. Cool. All right. Let's take a look at what the rest of the Genesis core rulebook has for us. So these are the rules for magic, which I could also use for psionics. Right? In some circumstances. There's vehicles, so we can make our giant robots. Vehicle combat, it's all in there. There's a whole subsection for hacking. So that's cool. So we don't need a luck score in this game because points. I can say, are you willing to spend a story point for that to be true? Right? It's the opposite of rolling, where they'll say, oh, is there a gun? Is there a gun in this facility somewhere? I need a pistol. And I'm like, I don't know, spend a story point. Somebody has a pistol in their locker. Yeah. Narrative control as opposed to luck, exactly. Build an adventure. So I think we roll at the beginning of a session to generate them, and then I have a certain amount and the players have a certain amount, and they get more, and then I take them when I spend them. Like we go back and forth. They give them to me when they spend them, and I give them back. Yeah. And then this is all just like how to run the game, right? Building an adventure. Tones and I didn't even read this chapter. Can I just say, all right, I need to personally thank whoever did what I'm about to read. Who wrote this section? I don't know who wrote this section. Whoever wrote chapter 4 of this book, I am talking to you specifically. This is why. Tone is represented mechanically. Right? Themes in horror. Why use horror? Talking about horror. Fear, new rules, tonal rules. So good. So they're creating rules for creating specific tones in the game, right? Trauma and their effects, sanity rules, intrigue-themed games, new rules, revelations, mystery games, pulp, new rules for pulp, the cliffhanger, romance and drama, superheroes. Like adding in new rules to reflect, and to be fair, this is my favorite thing about GURPS too. That's right. I have a favorite thing about GURPS. GURPS source books, incredibly well researched, kind of academically delivered. Mechanically, they're different from one another. Like they give you different mechanics where they're like, the setting of this has characters who are really hard to kill. So increase this number by this amount. Anyway. So I think it'll represent a fair amount of work to make it go exactly the way I want it to. But I think it's a great start, and the game gives me enough tools to build what I need. So I think probably what I will do... If they pick Psychic Academy... we'll just focus on making a bunch of different kinds of psychic stuff so they can all be different. And we'll kind of lean into the like X-Men. I'll look at the superhero rules and it'll kind of be like teenage romance drama superhero thing, right? Harry Potter in space. If they go with any of the other ones, I won't have to do as much work because I only have to do one psychic. But that's not so bad. They will get to decide in a pre-show. That's the point, right? That's what I'm doing now. I'm doing my homework for that pre-show. So this premise and situation, I guess what I need to do is I got to come up with, let's come up with a pitch for each one. And I'm going to assume that I'm going to use wouldn't hacking for masks archetypes be easier? You have clearly never designed a Powered by the Apocalypse game. Hacking 4 archetypes, I would have to design 4 brand new independent classes. Plus, masks isn't about teenagers like falling in love and existing in a structured society. Masks is about having power and how other people see you, right? It's about identity as a teenager, and that's not what the Psychic Academy one would be like. If they go Psychic Academy, I won't stick with Stars Without Number because it still doesn't do what I want. It's too generic for, I want to do like a very focused, mechanically tied thing, and I can build things that I need to help amplify that, right? So like I could create some kind of system for, like I could adapt the turn someone on rules from Monster Hearts into a system in Genesis to say, when somebody tries to turn you on, you have to resist using this skill. And you could be like, I succeed and I don't get flustered, but they can spend an advantage to be like, I will think about you later, right? Like that kind of thing. Yeah. Masks isn't about the characters. That's right. It's about how they're seen. So yeah, ostensibility, right? Hackability is something that I like about this. And something I think I could adjust. Psychic Academy is the hardest one to fit this premise. I think all the rest of them are pretty easy to hack together. So let's come up with pitches. So pitches. So setting pitches are, I really, really hope we don't go with Psychic Academy. Well, here's the thing. If somebody makes content and you don't like it, you don't have to watch it. I'm just saying. Okay. So, Synths on the Run. So the pitch for Synths on the Run, this is the thing. I gotta like, all right, let's massage my marketer, my advertiser brain. How would I sell this as a show to my cast? Okay. They made you to be perfect. You were bred for a purpose. You were bred for a porpoise. Bred for a porpoise, and hundreds of years of science and progress led to your birth. You were the backbone of the Empire. Her soldiers, her scientists, and her children. Then they said that those who made you were villains? Like they said that those who made you were plotting to use you to usurp the throne. And the resulting war wiped out nearly all of you. Now, those who remain must live underground, hiding their truth from the universe that hates and fears them. Now you must survive in this world. Now you must, I want it to be about, I want to like give them something like, but maybe there's more to be had. Safety, family, a new life somewhere else. Or revenge. These imperfect humans. These imperfect humans could be taught a lesson. What will you do with the perfect life they gave you? Yeah, there we go. That's some good back text. I like that. They made you to be perfect. You were bred for a purpose, and hundreds of years of science and progress led to your birth. You were the backbone of the empire, her soldiers, her scientists, and her children. Then they said that those who made you were plotting to use you to usurp the throne, and the resulting war wiped nearly all of you. The resulting war wiped out nearly all of you. Now, those who remain must live underground, hiding their truth from the universe that hates and fears them. Now you must survive in this world. But maybe there's more to be had. Safety, family, a new life somewhere else, or revenge. These imperfect humans could be taught a lesson. What will you do with the perfect life they gave you? Yeah, I like that. Okay, cool. And I'll ponder these a little bit while we get, closer to the time where we start doing this. Okay, all right. Let's see. There is a big gap. It's the page break. See? Page break. Just the contrast on it makes it so you don't see it. There. Okay. All right. So let's do a pitch for... Let's do a pitch for the next one for Psychic Academy. This is it. All the trials and tribulations of your school experience are coming to an end. You survived, I guess, the last 3 years. How long are you in Psychic Academy? It doesn't matter. You survived along with your classmates. And now all you have to do is graduate, right? Except it's not enough to graduate. You're going to be the best. You're going to have the best posting, the most prosperous marriage, and you're going to live a life far away from this frankly terrifying place. Nothing's ever going to keep you down. Yeah. No, supposing. Let's see. I want to say, like, I'm going to replace this. I need a synonym. You're the best psychics the Empire has to offer. And now all you have to do is prove it. Something like that. Yeah. Sith training temples on Corbin. The best minds. Yeah. But it's not best. It's not psychics that I want to get rid of. It's the best part. Top psychics. Most promising psychics the Empire has to offer. Now all you have to do is prove it. Yeah, I like that. That seems good. Top men. Okay, cool. So this is it. All the trials and tribulations of your school experience are coming to an end. You survived along with your classmates, and now all you have to do is graduate, right? Except it's not enough to graduate. You're going to be the best. You're going to have the best posting, the most prosperous marriage. You're going to live a life far away from this frankly terrifying place. You're the most promising psychics the Empire has to offer. Now all you have to do is prove it to everybody. I think just prove it is good. just pass this MK Ultra placement test. Perfect. Okay, good. Well, Kedium, remember, I can't give them all the information about this stuff. Like, I have to let them develop some of that. It comes from the characters. This is the premise, right? You're in Psychic Academy. You did the thing, right? So far, now all you have to do is survive the last year and get out of here. And then, yeah, and that'll be part of the situation is like, there are social events coming up. Everybody has their own thing. Like if nobody plays like a jock, we don't care about Cyball. It's happening in the background. But if somebody's like, yeah, I'm the top shooter for the Cyball team, obviously, then it becomes part of play. That's their option to bring in. Yeah. Psychic prom. I heard Jeannie doesn't want to go to the prom with you. Oh, yeah? Yeah, I heard it. She was thinking it in her sleep. Okay, so let's see. Let's see what we got here. Okay. So next up is, what is this? Down and Out on Honglu? No, Space Pirate Captain Acheron. Okay. So Space Pirate Captain Acheron. Let's see here. The sector is full of treasure just waiting to be grabbed. Just waiting to be snagged, purloined, taken. Right? Sector's full of treasure just waiting to be taken. The fat nobility rest on their laurels in the core worlds while you pillage their ships. The merchants of Acre and Trilliant cry in the boardroom over the profits you've... I'm going to change this to pillage. While you ravage their ships, the merchants of Acre and Trilliant cry in the boardroom over the profits you've pillaged. But every era comes to a close, and more vagrant ships are turning legit. Not you. You've done something so terrible, the Empire will never forgive it. That's why you need to find a way out. Just one more job. See, the thing is, I don't want to limit it to one job. Well, maybe we can start it that way, right? Maybe that's why you need to find a way out. Just a few more credits. And what did we end up calling the Booker, right? Like, because they gotta pay Booker basically to like hide them so they can retire. Yeah. The thing is, he's not called the Shadow Broker because, oh, that's right, the Wizard. We called him that. So a few more credits, and the Wizard will be able to hide you from your past forever. One more job. Just one more. Yeah, there we go. That's right. Yeah, follow the Yellow Brick Road and the Wizard, and that's his whole thing. Yeah. Cool. All right, that seems good. The sector is full of treasure, just waiting to be taken. The fat nobility rest on their laurels in the core worlds while you ravage their ships. The merchants of Acre and Trilliant cry in the boardroom over the profits you've pillaged. But every era comes to a close, and more vagrant ships are turning legit. Now, you've done something so terrible the Empire will never forgive it. That's why you need to find a way out. Find another way out. Just a few more credits, and the Wizard will be able to hide you from your past forever. One more job. Just one more. Yeah, okay, that's great. That's good. Yeah, and here, let's call it one last job. Just one more. Cool, okay. So that's kind of fun. And then we got Down and Out on Honglu. Welcome to hell. It wasn't always like this. Honglu used to be the shining red gate of House Cygnus. Factories working day and night to produce the best that science had to offer. A whole species of perfect people left this world to live among the stars. Not you, though. You're stuck on this shithole. Surrounded by strife, chaos, and bloodshed. Dying a little bit faster than everyone everywhere else. Not anymore, though. You and your friends have had enough. Heap of garbage. Heap of burning garbage. And come hell or high water, you'll see your way free. There you go. Dumpster fire. Yeah, fuck this planet. Honglu sucks. Honglu sucks a lot. What's up, Wheat? I'm just putting together some premises, some premises to pitch to all y'all, and then you'll get to pick one that you like the best, and we'll work to make characters. And none of this stuff is secret. Yeah, there's no spoilers. Don't worry. I'm basically just prepping so that I can tell you not too long from now what you can choose from. It's a secret to everybody. Yep. Cool. Yeah. All right. So for everybody who's being editorial, yeah. So I said, welcome to hell at the beginning, and I used hell or high water at the end because I'm bookending the pitch. That's how writing works. So yeah, come hell or high water, you'll set your way free. Okay. So we need one more, right? Since on the Run, Psychic Academy, Space Pirate Captain Acheron, Down and Out on Honglu, and then what was our last one? It was, oh yeah, Prism News Ship 12. Let's see here. Prism News Ship 12. Every day, 10 billion interesting things happen in Acheron Row. Terrorists blow up orphanages. Nobles kill each other in duels. And I've heard that the guild turned someone's baby into an octopus the other day. Everywhere in Acheron Row, something is going on, and it's your job to report on it. Prism pays well. Let's see, pays well for excitement and entertainment for the masses of humanity living throughout the sector. And you're going to break the big one. The guild is like, it's a joke, right? Like, don't do it. The guild will get you. The guild is like the, people who believe in the guild are like flat earthers or like lizard men conspiracy like type figures, but like also they're real. But don't tell anybody. Yeah. Cool. All right. Let's see. Prism pays well for excitement and entertainment for the mass of humanity living throughout the sector, and you're going to break the big one. Or die trying. Remember, if it bleeds, it leads. Boom. Yeah, guildism is a thing. Cool. Okay. So there you go. So that's the other premise. So right now, and I guess just to review, because I know if you're watching this live, one of the players just popped into chat. So right now the options are a bunch of illegal synthetic humanoids trying to survive and maybe getting revenge on humanity. A group of a group of talented psychic nobility who are trying to graduate at the top of their class and also like teen drama and romance and what have you. Kind of like, you know, X-Men or Harry Potter or the Magicians. Space Pirate Captain Acheron, a bunch of terrible people who can't go legit and who need to do one last job to be able to buy their freedom from their own past. And then down and out on Honglu. Honglu is like a horrible garbage planet where people's lives are meaningless and they struggle and suffer, and you are fucking sick of it. And now it's time to overthrow your masters, throw off your chain, and rise up, and then escape this place, or maybe become your own horrible problem. And then lastly, you are a news crew of freelancers who fly around the universe, finding news stories and reporting on them, and also maybe creating your own news stories, learning secrets you shouldn't learn, and trying to survive. So these are the 5 core principles that I've kind of got to set it before my players, and then they're going to pick one, and we're going to talk about what kind of characters they could play. I'm going to make a bunch of notes about that. And then the next thing you're going to see me doing is any kind of design work that I need to do before we do character creation. So we'll do basic character creation stuff during a Patreon show with the cast. That'll be the first full cast document that we have. And then I'll come back, and on my channel, I will do some design work to generate mechanical stuff to back them up on whatever they pick. So it'll be a much more focused stream, and we'll be doing that. So that's what I guess, like, I don't know, session -1 looks like. This is me coming up with ideas for the campaign based on kind of some things that I'd been thinking about. What I want to do, right? What I want to come out this session feeling is equally excited about all 5 premises. So if you're feeling like, oh, it's such a tough choice, or like, oh, there's so many good options, we've succeeded here today, right? I'm coming out of this saying, like, whatever the players agree on, I'm not going to secretly be trying to nudge them in any direction. I am excited about whatever they pick, and that puts me in such a good place. So whatever they decide, I will likely talk more about that on Twitter or whatever, and then we'll do another stream. And I think I can't say officially because I don't know that it's been announced when we're doing character creation. You can probably expect the next stream in about a week. Probably. Has it been announced? Did we announce it? Okay, so then definitely in a week. JP tweeted something. Perfect. Okay. So if it doesn't change, there you go. We're going to do session 0 on the 21st. I'm going to put together something on the 22nd, 3rd, or 4th. And then we'll do character creation after that. And then there we go. And then we'll start the episodes. Fucking sweet. I'm hype. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for coming and participating in this and for being excited about Far Verona. I'm very excited about it. And I know the cast is too. So thanks for getting hype. If you're not already, go throw the cast a follow. We jumped in on Vanna's channel the other day, me and JP, and showered her with attention because she's like a new member of the cast. So go and check that out. And hey, like, if you're not already part of the larger faction turn, you can participate in the game by going to patreon.com/roleplay, joining the Patreon at any level. $3 or higher will get you the videos. Any level will get you access to the fan Discord. You can join your own faction, and we can you can help me build the universe. So, yeah, rad. All right, friends, I'm gonna go get some lunch. Thank you for coming. If you missed any part of this, it's live, highlighted in the VODs within the next hour or so, and then I will get it up on my YouTube channel before that character creation happens next week. Cool. Thanks, everybody. What a great place to be a year in. I'm excited. We'll see you next time.